Hey, welcome to another Blasteroid video. Here I'm about to share out my first edition of my new game. Not a mega base per se, it doesn't have a resource belt or anything running through it, but it's kind of a trophy room of all the items I've created throughout the map, and it's got a huge sky bridge, as you can tell. It's only going to get bigger with time, but you'll find that in the description of the video a link to a Reddit post with the link to the download with the save and a few more details about the file here. I'm going to go through kind of a quick tour of the actual base here. So you can see a lot of walkways, like I said, a lot of sky bridging going on. Every single section, which is north, south, west, east, has 2 Explorer vehicles, so you can travel in style with those. You'll also find some turbo fuel that you can always stockpile here. The turbo fuel is automatically supplied from miles away, so use at your heart's content. This will autofill as you use it. I do caution you, the first part does have rails, but when you get out to the outer skirts, it's just a single row of cement. So if you're not an expert driver, be very, very careful. I've had a few accidents already, so yeah. Especially with the frame rate, when it goes down, it's hard to drive. Alright, let's go into the base and check things out. So you'll see here there are storage bins on every one, and I actually created a video a while back on how to create these storage bins. It's kind of a 3x1, too tall type design, but you can clearly see the items on the belt. I used Mark 1 belts here because it's easy to see the product, but it does not slow down filling in the product line. It's actually loaded underneath, you can't see it here, with a Mark 4 belt. So you can walk up to it, grab as many as you want, or just pick directly from the line itself. So there are 9 items per side, so a total of 36 items are coming in here. I have gotten up to supercomputers, so we are on this build finished with tier 6, and every single alternative recipe has been unlocked. So this is ready to go to tier 7 as B. So let me just kind of show you a few items here and there. I've even done some items that you may not expect. You see kind of a lag here. Every 5 minutes I do get the save lag. The file is over like 100 megs. So we have supercomputers here. I've gone ahead and got some fun items going. So I've got my rotisserie for all the alien and organ meat here. So created a little barbecue in case you want to eat some of that here. So we've got little tiki torches here. Few ingredients, a little barbecue pit over here for you, and nice little awning to keep you out of the sun. I've even done things like here's spiked rebar, silica. I did not bring in ore or ingots or anything like that. Color cartridges, which we'll actually see how those get made here in just a second. Biofuels here, regular fuel. Now here's the one to watch out for. I said regular fuel already. You can see slugs and stuff in there too. I only have 2 joke conveyor belts. Those were empty, but everything else is filled with regular one. So this is turbo fuel. Do not get them confused because your jetpack does not work with turbo fuel. Found that the hard way. So make sure you read the label as you pick them up. Right now the graphic looks exactly the same. I even have beacons made. I mean, you'll go through and find them all here. Now, one disclaimer. I'm not saying that this is the way you need to build. This is the way I enjoy playing the game. It's all up in the air. I get that. Everything is flat and easy to build. You'll see my factory spread throughout the thing, and I have one way of designing. I mean, look and learn from things, but don't pretend that you have to build the way I build. I like to build in the air like this because I don't know what they're going to patch in the future, and I want to make sure that all my stuff is staying here. Unless they put some mountain right here where my base is going to be, I feel pretty safe. Like all my other bases, I always include kind of a racetrack. It goes both directions, so you can easily navigate quickly around the map here. I even got the turnstile, so you automatically turn, so you can stay on this 24/7 if you like. I'm still memorizing what exactly is each side, but I've color-coded it, so you know the north, west, east, south side, but you can also go orange, purple, light blue, what is that, yellow over there. You can be able to learn them that way. Got my hub here. Got a little kinetic art going on with some parachutes. I thought that was fun. So it kind of surrounds it a little bit, kind of hide the belt so you can't see it. Kind of decorations with poles and other fun stuff here, as you can tell. In the hub itself, you'll actually find a big assortment of Blade Runners and jetpacks. I learned the hard way, be prepared for death, especially when you have a sky bridge. So these will allow you to get back to your body a little bit easier. So hopefully you don't die as much as I do, but that is there. Alright, let's go inside this little tiny pyramid on top. Alright, so first thing you might notice is I've got a moon door. Game of Thrones reference here. You can land in the jelly pad down there, so if you jump, hopefully you make it there. But all the bad men that you want to fly can go this way. It is 2 stories, you can see the basement. We'll go in the basement here in just a second. This room is kind of your building room. As you can see, I've got a lot of stuff here, a lot of storage compartments. These white windows, either one can be used, but this is where I want you to put the basic items, your rods, cable, wire, concrete, industrial beams for Mark IV right now. You just throw it in there, and basically it goes into a room in the basement with like 5 or 6 storage containers. This way you can empty your bags of all the miscellaneous basic stuff and really quickly without filling up these bins. These bins are really good for your rotors, your motors, your supercomputers, things you're just miscellaneous need to empty your bag, but you want to keep for later on building. Now you still want to use these resources later on. You can go pick them up in the basement, and that way your factories don't have to work building this miscellaneous stuff that you accumulated over time. That's kind of the idea there. You'll see here I'm already wired the space elevator, which you can actually see up here, and that goes to the basement, so in case we ever need that in the game, we're already wired, ready to plug that in. We've also got these green walls here. This is kind of your biofuel and color cartridge maker, so you put wood, leaves, or flour. You can put them all 3 in either of the windows, and it will automatically go through a kind of a system I have hidden downstairs and build biofuel and color cartridges automatically. And on the belt, I believe it's on the south side, you'll find both those items in one of the 2 compartments when you're ready to look there. Other places to build, you'll notice doorways. There's one, there's another, quite a few doorways on every single side. Every single one of those has a small workbench. And you'll find the bigger workbench on the outside and all the corners, all 4 corners. So a lot to build here. Alright, let's go downstairs. You can go downstairs from the outside, or you can go into this room and go downstairs right here. Alright, the second level of the moon door right here. Really pretty view. You can see how high up we are. Pretty crazy. Alright, the white wall here, this is that miscellaneous items I talked about earlier. Remember, there's 5 compartments, so once you clear this out, you might have 2 or 3 other containers come in and feed stuff. So, the green wall here, don't ever have to use it. This is what creates the biofuel and those color cartridges, and you can see they automatically feed up to one of those systems. Here is the basement of the entry to all the items. Every side has 9 items coming in it. This one only has 7 because I'm using the biofuel and color cartridge of the other 2. But you'll see 9 belts on all the other sides come in like this. So a pretty nice system. Using the conveyor lifts, man, that changes the way you build this game. Conveyor lifts are pretty awesome. And each side's kind of the same. You'll see at the top there, that's that turbo fuel I talked about that's being supplied to all 4 sides for your vehicles. Alright, let's get into some other stuff here. I did create a garage. More playing around with what you can do with items and stuff, but you can see here I'm working on an Explorer vehicle right now. I've got the motor and stator out, and battery out, so we'll get it going pretty soon. Got a little computer here to monitor its vitals, get the codes and stuff. A little bit of storage going on in here, a little radio in case you get bored. Oh, some fun things. I left my grapes here, need to eat those later. Little tables with some stuff on it. And more storage items up here. So like I said, nothing that's part of the game, but when you get bored sometimes and you want to see how creative you can get, it's just fun to do these kind of projects. I did another one on the other side here. Let me show you. I call this one the mineral zany room or something. The anti-OCD room, you know. I've got spaghetti going everywhere throughout this thing. And basically the idea is you might have a bag full of minerals or something and you hate throwing them away. Well, come dump them in this center area here. You never know when they come in handy. I know coal sometimes, every once in a while I need to come in and grab some coal for something like fabric or things like, or the gas mask filters. Those are what needed it. And you can see here, it's just a bunch of fun stuff. And what's on the belt's not really important. That's just kind of an animation I have going on. I even got a thing over here. I forgot what those red objects are called. Alright, moving on to the tour here. This is what I call the ratio room. It basically has every single item that or factory you need to build stuff already wired up. And I really don't make stuff in here. You can, and I'll explain that here in a second. But I really just go up to it, and I'll pick up an item, and I'll figure out the numbers, the inputs and outputs. Alternative recipes is really good because you can't see that in the hub anymore after a patch. So yeah, alternative recipes show up finally, and if you want to throw stuff in there, you can just fine. All of them are merged together. All their outputs are merged together, kind of hidden back here. If you go up here, you'll find a yellow bay, and all the items will come in here eventually. So if you want to throw some things in and then come back a few minutes later and pick them up, you can actually use it as a thing. But I really just use it for the map itself, and so that's kind of the idea behind that. Alright, so that's pretty much the base tour. A few disclaimers to get out of the way as I kind of walk around and look around here. The factories are not optimized whatsoever. I've got everything I can running at 450 parts per minute. Now I don't have like supercomputers running that fast or anything, and that's where I've talked about optimized. I consider this to be a trickle feed. All I really need to do is fill up one container in my base and I'm happy. I'm not trying to do what I did in my last base and get over 100,000 supercomputers, which I did, but I'm not trying to get there. Good thing is the frames per second on this one are a little bit better than the last base I created, so this is somewhat playable compared to that last one. Unless your system may vary, of course. Decorative radio towers, not really working because I've already scanned the 105% it does. I have toured most of the map, as you can see. I'm dead center here, and that way I can build the sky bridge and kind of cover all the zones at once. Everything's kind of laid out here. I haven't discovered all the map zone. I do have one thing marked here. It says no open empty. There's a crash site with no hard drive in it. I've already opened it. It was empty, so I reloaded my save, left it closed, so a future patch, hopefully that gets fixed and there will be a hard drive in there. Not that you need hard drives, because I've already got all the alternative recipes, and I've already got 5 more hard drives sitting in the hub storage for you to go. If you find my factories, you're going to find most of them without walls, and you may find a lot of empty space around the factories too, because I've tried to prep them for 900 parts per minute, the Mark 6 belts, once they come out, trying to kind of future-proof the game. Now, as I said earlier, you can drive the cars on the belts. There's ramps down to almost every biome. I basically built ramps where I needed to for the materials to bring them back. If there's a side without a ramp, that's because I don't have any factories down there. So follow the ramps down, you should find all the factories. They don't have walls, because I'm still, like I said, waiting for Mark 6 belts. They also don't have structures down to the ground, so you might see some floating above something that looks unrealistic. I'm not doing that until I've basically finish the game. Hopefully tier 7, 8, 9, 10 I can make this game last until then. But I do want to put trains eventually up here too. Not for carrying cargo, but more for transportation. I think it's going to be really cool to be able to get to anywhere you want in just a few seconds. And I'll abandon the cars when train comes out. It may have multiple trains coming to pick you up and take you to different locations. So we'll go from there. So that's pretty much it for this save. Like I said, to look at the description, you'll find a link to the Reddit post with a lot more details, including the save file that you can play around and test out. If you want to use the save file as your main base, go for it. If you just want to look around, poke around, try to learn a few things, go for it. If you want to look around and give me suggestions, do that too. I'm not saying that you have to use my save or do anything like that. I'm enjoying the game. I'm playing it the way I want to play it. If you have criticisms about that, you can keep them to yourself. You can play the game exactly how you want to play it too. That's the beauty of this game. It's so open world type design that there are multiple ways to play it. Play however you find fun in doing so. Alright, that's all I have. Thank you.